Hello everyone, welcome back. So Create React app is finally sunsetted by the React.js team. They have published a blog post about it. So let's go through it. The Create React app was deprecated long time back. So I think finally, I'm not sure they might haven't made a blog post about it, but they finally made a blog post about that. So today we are deprecating Create React app for new apps and encouraging existing apps to migrate to a framework. We are also providing docs for when a framework isn't good fit for your project or you prefer to start by building a framework. When we released Create React app in 2016, there was no clear way to build a new React app. To create a React app, you had to install a bunch of tools and wire them together yourself to support basic features like JSX linting and hot reloading. This was very tricky to do correctly. So the community created boilerplates for common setups. However, the boilerplates was difficult to update and fragmentation made it difficult for React to release new feature. Create React app should solve these problems by combining several tools into a single recommended configuration. This allowed apps a simple way to upgrade to a new tooling features and allow the React team to deploy non-trivial tooling changes, fast refresh support, React hooks lint rules to the broadest possible audience. This model becomes so popular that there is an entire category of tools working this way today. Deprecating Create React app. Although Create React app makes it easy to get started, there are several limitations that make it difficult to build high performance production apps. In principle, we could solve these problems by essentially evolving it into a framework. However, since Create React app currently has no active maintainers and there are many existing frameworks that solve these problems already, we have decided to deprecate Create React app. Starting today, if you install a new app, you will see a deprecation warning. We recommend creating new React apps with a framework. All the frameworks we recommend support client-only spas and can be deployed to a CDN or static hosting service without a server. For existing app, these guides will help you migrate to a client-only spa. Next.js Create React app migration guide, React routers framework adoption guide, and Expo web app to Expo router migration guide. Create React app will continue working in maintenance mode, and we have published a new version of Create React app to work with React 19. If your app has unusual constraints, or if you prefer to solve these problems by building your own framework, or you just want to learn how React works from scratch, you can enroll your own custom setup with React using Vite or Parcel. To help users get started with Vite or Parcel, we have published new docs for building a framework. Continue reading to learn more about the limitations of Create React app and why we recommend frameworks. So here they have mentioned, do you recommend Vite? We provide several Vite based recommendations. React Router v7 is a Vite based framework which allows you to use Vite's fast development server and build tooling with a framework that provides routing and data fetching. Just like other frameworks, we recommend you build a spa with React Router v7. We also recommend using Vite when adding React to an existing project or building a framework. Just like Svelte has SvelteKit, Vue has Nuxt, and Solid has Solid Start, React recommends using a framework that integrates with build tools like Vite for new projects. Limitations of Create React app. Create React app and build tools like it make it easy to get started building a React app. After running npx create react app my app, you get a fully configured React app with a development server, linting, and a production build. For example, if you are building an internal admin tool, you can start with a landing page. This allows you to immediately start coding in React with features like JSX, default linting rules, and a bundler to run in both development and production. However, this setup is missing the tools you need to build a real production app. Most production app need solutions to problems like routing, data fetching, and code splitting. Routing. Create React app does not include a specific routing solution. If you are just getting started, one option is to use the use state to switch between routes. But doing this means that you can't share links to your app. Every link would go to the same page, and structuring your app becomes difficult over time. This is why most apps that use Create React apps solve routing with a routing library like React Router or Tanstack Router. With a routing library, you can add additional routes to the app, which provides opinions on the structure of your app and allows you to start sharing links to routes. For example, with React Router, you can define routes. So something like this. With this change, you can share a link to dashboard, and the app will navigate to the dashboard page. Once you have a routing library, you can add additional features like nested routes, route guards, route transition, which are difficult to implement without a routing library. There is a trade-off being made here. The routing library adds complexity to the app, but it also adds features that are difficult to implement without it. Data fetching. Another common problem in Create React app is data fetching. Create React app does not include a specific data fetching solution. If you are just getting started, a common option is to use fetch in an effect to load data, but doing this means that the fetch data is fetched after the component renders, which can cause network waterfalls. Network waterfalls are caused by fetching data when your app renders instead of in parallel while the code is downloading. Fetching in an effect means that the user has to wait longer to see the content, even though the data could have been fetched earlier. To solve this, you can use a data fetching library like React Query, HWR, Apollo, or Relay, which provide options to prefetch data so the request is started before the component renders. This library works best when integrated with your routing loader pattern to specify data dependencies at the route level, which allows the router to optimize your data fetches. So here I have one loader. Here is our dashboard as well. On initial load, the router can fetch the data immediately before the route is rendered. As the user navigates around the app, the router is able to fetch both the data and route at the same time, parallelizing the fetches. This reduces the time it takes to see the content on the screen and can improve the user experience. However, this requires correctly configuring the loaders in your app and trades off complexity for performance. Code splitting. Another common problem in Create React app is code splitting. Create React app does not include a specific code splitting solution. If you are just getting started, you might not consider code splitting at all. This means your app is shipped as a single bundle, but for ideal performance, you should split your code into separate bundles so the user only needs to download what they need. This decreases the time the user needs to wait to load your app. By only downloading the code, they need to see the page they are on. One way to do code splitting is with React Lazy. However, this means that the code is not fetched until the component renders, which can cause network waterfalls. A more optimal solution is to use a router feature that fetches the code in parallel while the code is downloading. For example, React Router provides a lazy option to specify a route that should be code split and optimized when it is loaded. Optimizing code splitting is tricky to get right, and it's easy to make mistakes that can cause the user to download more code than they need. It works best when integrated with your router and data loading solution to maximize caching, parallelize fetches, and support import on interaction patterns and more. These are just a few examples of the limitations of Create React app. Once you have integrated routing, data fetching, and code splitting, you also need to consider pending states, navigation interruptions, error messages to the user, and revalidation of the data. There are entire categories of problem that user needs to solve, like accessibility, asset loading, authentication, caching, error handling, mutating data, navigation, optimistic updates, progressive enhancement, server-side rendering, static-side generation, streaming. All of this work together to create the most optimal loading sequence. Solving each of this problem individually in Create React app can be difficult, as each problem is interconnected with the others and can require deep expertise in problem areas users may not be familiar with. In order to solve this problem, users end up building their own bespoke solutions on top of Create React app, which was the problem Create React app originally tried to solve. Why we recommend frameworks? Although you could solve all these pieces yourself in a build tool like Create React app, Vite, or Parser, it is hard to do well. Just like when Create React app itself integrated several build tools together, you need a tool to integrate all of these features together to provide the best experience to user. This category of tools that integrates build tools, rendering, routing, data fetching, and code splitting are known as frameworks, or if you prefer to call React itself a framework, you might call them meta frameworks. Frameworks impose some opinions about structuring your app in order to provide a much better user experience. In the same way, build tools impose some opinions to make tooling easier. This is why we started recommending frameworks like Next.js, React Router, and Expo for new projects. Frameworks provides the same getting started experience as Create React app, but also provides solution to problems user need to solve anyway in real production app. Server side rendering is optional. So here they have given the frameworks we recommend all provide the option to create a client side render app. In some cases, client side render is the right choice for a page, but many a time it's not. Even if most of your app is client side, there are often individual pages that could benefit from server rendering features like static site generation or server side rendering. For example, a terms of service page or documentation. Server rendering generally sends less JavaScript to the client and a full HTML document, which provides a faster first contentful paint by reducing the total blocking time, which can also lower interaction to the next paint. This is why the Chrome team has encouraged developers to consider static or server side render over a full client side approach to achieve the best possible performance. There are trade-offs to using a server, and it's not always the best option for every page. Generating pages on the server incurs additional cost and takes time to generate, which can increase time to first byte. The best performing apps are able to pick the right rendering strategy on a per page basis based on the trade-offs of each strategy. Framework provides the option to use a server on any page if you want to, but do not force to use a server. This allows you to pick the right rendering strategy for each page in your app. What about server components? The framework we recommend also includes support for React server component. Server components help solve these problems by moving routing and data fetching to the server, and allows close code splitting to be done for client component based on the data you render instead of just the route rendered, and reducing the amount of JavaScript shipped for the best possible loading sequence. Server components do not require a server. They can run at build time on your CI server to create a static site generated app at runtime on a web server for a server rendered app. See introducing zero bundle size React server components and the docs for more info. Server rendering is not just for SEO. A common misunderstanding is that server rendering is only for SEO. While server rendering can improve SEO, it also improves performance by reducing the amount of JavaScript the user needs to download and parse before they can see the content on the screen. This is why Chrome team has encouraged developers to consider static or server side render over a full client side approach to achieve the best possible performance. So yeah, then they have just mentioned about all the people who have helped in reviewing and providing feedback. That's it. Thank you for watching.